Am I the jerk for the makeup artist walking off as I was difficult and refusing to cover some of the cost of the MUA? I am a 26-year-old female and a bridesmaid for my college friend Lily. She wasn't really involved in planning the wedding, leaving it to her maid of honor, Anna, apart from choosing the venue and dress. Anna picked a local makeup artist with experience doing the look that Lily and Anna had decided on. I first met the makeup artist at the rehearsal dinner when she did Lily's and all the bridesmaids' makeup. The makeup lasted for most people, but on me it looked awful by the end of the night. The foundation had separated in places and highlighted my texture. When the makeup artist came around to do the makeup for the wedding, I asked her if she would mind me doing my skin prep before she applied the makeup. She said she did her own skin prep and didn't want to deviate from the look Anna asked her to recreate. I mentioned how my makeup had looked at the end of the rehearsal and offered to do my own makeup instead, but she told Anna about the situation. I repeated the same information to Anna and said I wouldn't mind doing my own makeup, but Anna insisted that the makeup looks for us should be cohesive and to just work with the makeup artist. Since Anna was quite busy, I left her alone. When it was my turn for makeup, the skin prep the makeup artist mentioned was just a makeup wipe and a facial mist. I asked her if I could use my moisturizer, but she said no, stating it might not work with the foundation she was using. When I suggested she could use my foundation, she said no because it was her professional reputation on the line, and she felt more comfortable using her products. We were just going around in circles, and she wasn't compromising on anything. One of the other bridesmaids came in, and when I explained the situation to her, the makeup artist got upset and walked off because she felt I was ganging up on her. She had done everyone's makeup except mine and Anna's at this point. Anna called me difficult, and I told her I had tried my best to work with the makeup artist. The other bridesmaid backed me up. Anna got upset as we were in a foreign place with no one available last minute to help with hair since the makeup artist had left, and Anna and I didn't have our makeup done. Some of the other bridesmaids tried to placate the makeup artist, but they couldn't find her, and we found out later she had just left. We all did our own hair, and one of the other bridesmaids did Anna's makeup. Anna didn't talk to me for the rest of the day and has sent me a text requesting me to cover some of the cost of the makeup artist, as she is still charging for transport and the hourly rate for the work she did on the day. Lily is on her honeymoon, so I don't want to bother her with this, but I genuinely don't believe I should be responsible for the makeup costs. I feel awful that the makeup artist walked out on the day, and I gave countless apologies, but I tried to stand my ground about the makeup, and now I'm being called difficult. You are not at fault here. Everyone's skin is different. The MUA was definitely being unprofessional by not letting you apply your own base and by leaving without finishing everyone's makeup. It's not like the bridesmaid makeup was going to be analyzed by a panel of judges, so her line about professional reputation is just bogus. She definitely should not get paid in full because her behavior was completely inappropriate. Am I the jerk for bragging about my first and only hit tweet? At the time, I was a 14-year-old female and a freshman in high school with a group of friends I enjoyed spending time with. Towards the end of the school year in January, I made a tweet that not a lot of people agreed with, but it was getting a lot of views, almost 150,000 views. The next day at school, I said to my friends, "Hey, look at this. My post is getting a lot of views." Because they did not have Twitter, I was a little torn when they did not say anything about it. At lunch, I said again, "My post is getting some more views," thinking they would say something, but they just said cool and I moved on. I knew they did not really care, but I thought because they were my friends, they would say something positive or supportive, which now, looking back, was a bit naive. I kept seeing how negative the tweet got and deleted it, but I screenshotted it before doing so. That same evening, I received a call from one of my friends in the group that I was closest to. She said, "We don't want to be friends with you," and ended the call. They texted me long paragraphs about how I was bragging and didn't care for their feelings, which left me completely out of the loop. I only bragged twice about that tweet, and that was the only thing I could brag about considering I come from a very poor family, and we had to downsize when we moved to a new town in 2020. The friends who said I bragged came from families that had more money than mine, but they never necessarily bragged about it. I was very confused about why they said I did not care for their feelings because I did. I knew one of my friends had to visit a family member they did not really like, and I asked how it was and hoped it went well. In general, I asked my group how they all were. They always said, "Good, fine," or something along those lines. When I lose a friend, I usually try to better myself and hopefully try to gain their trust back. I did so for 2 out of the 4 friends. However, one of them would always be so rude and say, "FUB at everything I said." Thankfully, we are all friends again, but I have to know. So, am I the asshole? It sounds like they were more upset about the content of the tweet rather than the fact that it got traction. As it's written, you behaved properly. However, it's hard to believe this fallout is just from the one day when you were excited about the tweet. Sometimes, seeking too much validation can be tiring for others. Am I the jerk for getting into an argument with my parents and sister? We are living a comfortable life, but we're not rich. I would say we are in the middle class. The past months, my parents have been arguing about money at least once a month. Everyone in the family is well aware of it. My youngest sister, who is 15 years old, and I have been saving money so we won't ask them too much for our leisure activities. However, we both noticed that our sister, who is 20 years old, has been frequently asking for money for town travel and going out with friends. I, a 22-year-old female, told my 20-year-old sister that she's been asking for money too frequently from my parents, and it sparked an argument. I said that I was merely pointing it out, but she claims that we are attacking her. She also told us the things she says to her classmates who ask about her spending habits. She replies that that's the reason why our dad works. I do agree to some extent, but it becomes too much. I wanted to instill that just because you are financially dependent on someone and they can't say no, it doesn't mean that you can take advantage of it. She is well aware of the money problem, but it seems like she doesn't care. Even our youngest sister thinks so too. My dad talked to me, asking me what the argument was really about. I told him what I meant. I never meant to attack her. I just wanted her to learn that just because you can doesn't mean you have to. Plus, if this habit goes on, it will be her suffering in the future. I don't want my sister to become a spoiled adult who always depends on others. The argument between my sister and me continued. My dad asked me to stop and believes that my sister got my point, but I don't think she did. Even until now, she's asking me to understand her. I just don't understand how, in the midst of a financial problem, she thinks that she is entitled to get money for vacation, drinking, and other unimportant activities. Keep in mind, she barely does chores. Even our youngest sister does more chores than her. I remembered the time when she once asked for money, and our dad initially gave her $500. She said to us, "I won't be going with my friends. Dad only gave me $500. She asked for more and got a total of $1,000. She asked for more because she said she was going to the movies, but she went drinking with friends. My parents don't allow us to drink, and they also don't know that we drink. This behavior just doesn't sit well with me. Am I just an a-hole? You handled this poorly. You need to mind your own business and stop trying to act like her parent. If your parents weren't okay with giving her money, they are capable of telling her that themselves. If you have a problem, talk with your parents instead of confronting your sister. Am I the jerk for making my parent cry by telling them that I hated what they planned for my birthday? For context, I am about to turn 18, and I have been excited to officially be an adult for a while now. A few months ago, the topic of what to do for my birthday came up, and both my parents agreed on doing a religious ceremony and then a party with close members of our South Asian community. I personally just wanted something small with a couple of my friends. The moment they said that, I immediately disagreed with the religious ceremony as I am an atheist, and I find the whole ceremony tedious and annoying. It requires praying for a long time, and I personally do not like the monks that are leading it. The ceremony starts in the morning and ends around midday. My parents, however, were adamant on having it. In their defense, they haven't hosted one in a long time. There were a lot of new renovations done to the house that they wanted to bless, and they wanted me to bless. And they wanted me to gain merits, which they believe will help my future and next life. I knew there was really no point in arguing, so I just went along with it. At the time, I didn't care much. A couple of weeks before my birthday, my parents, specifically my mother, were stressed about the whole thing as there was a lot to prepare. I personally also hate this as I don't want to be stressed about preparations for my own birthday. My parents have also spent a lot of money for this, and I can't help but become more and more stressed about it as I am starting college soon, and I'd rather that money be used for tuition. I voiced my concerns and my dislike for the upcoming party to my mother, and she was instantly disappointed. I know that nothing can be done now since stuff has been bought, and people have been invited, but I really wanted my mother to know how disappointed I was, and I needed to vent about it. My mother started listing the reasons I mentioned in the beginning. I kept saying things like, "Next time I don't want this at all," and that I don't like to spend my birthdays like that. She shot back by saying that I always do nothing and worthless things on my birthdays. I always only invite a couple of friends and do meaningless things, and that I never want to spend it with my community. If I didn't do that, then basically I was alienating them. I just said that I enjoyed doing those worthless things. After going back and forth for a while, she completely shut down and stopped talking to me. I just really wanted to vent, and now I feel bad. Am I the asshole? Everyone sucks here, but use this as an opportunity to commit to being honest and straightforward as soon as a conflict arises. If your mother chooses to have a meltdown because you expressed your feelings, that's her choice. At 18, you're officially an adult, and this should be the last birthday they have anything to do with planning. From now on, plan your own parties and stick up for yourself. It's your day after all. Am I the jerk for giving back a gift from my parents during family therapy? A year ago, I, a 16-year-old female, learned that my parents had been lying to me and that my dad was not my biological father. For me, it wasn't the lie alone that caused problems, but the reason for the lie and their overall actions. My real father didn't abandon me. He didn't walk out, nor was he some irresponsible person or deadbeat. He was in an accident when I was 5 months old that left him permanently disabled and unable to do anything for himself. My mother filed for divorce a month after the accident because she realized he wouldn't recover. She met my stepfather during that period, and before I was 2 years old, they had him adopt me. My real father's family wanted to be in my life, but my parents refused. They told them my stepfather was going to be known as my real dad, and they didn't want to share me with them. My stepfather didn't want to share the title of dad and didn't want me to know I wasn't his biological child. So, they lied to me and hid it from me. They returned or destroyed any attempts my real father's family made to reach out. Because my real father was technically alive, just not able to make choices for himself, they couldn't get any grandparents' rights to see me. I found out the truth when a cousin from my real father's side reached out to me on social media last year. She sent me photos of me as a baby with my real father and photos of me with that side of the family. She explained some of what happened and told me they had always wanted to know me and that she had always been aware I existed. She was around 16 or 17 years old when she found me. I searched our basement records one night, where all the paperwork is kept, and I found the birth certificate with my stepfather's name on it. I also found the letter they received stating the changes had been made to the father's name. I confronted my parents, and I was angry that they refused to acknowledge it. They tried to dismiss it and told me it was a lie and that I shouldn't trust random people on the internet. It was only when I started calling my stepfather by his name instead of dad and acknowledging him as my stepfather that they decided we needed therapy. It took 3 months for them to tell the truth. It took more months for them to admit why they had done it. They didn't like it when I told them they did it for themselves and not for me. My parents said they did it out of love for me. I said they did it to be selfish, to claim me as theirs and not have to share me. I can't forgive them for it, and they still keep me from my biological family. During our last session in therapy, I took off the necklace they gave me for my 13th birthday, which they called my daughter necklace, and I gave it back to them. I told them I rejected it. Things went a little crazy after that, and I stopped listening as they fought with the therapist. They told me I was being cruel with my actions and that it wasn't right. Am I the asshole? You are not to blame. It's shocking that your mom would keep an entire side of your family from you. Her actions are unforgivable and have deprived you of knowing your paternal relatives. It's important to focus on finding peace and not letting a lifetime of anger ruin your life. Am I the jerk for having a bad gut feeling about this person ruining my relationship when me and my ex were together? My ex-boyfriend Nate and I dated for almost 12 months, with half of that time spent in a long-distance relationship. When he went to Wyoming for his junior year, a girl named Jordan developed a crush on him. He supposedly told her he had a girlfriend, which was me, Carrington. A few weeks later, they became friends, and I was introduced to her during a match of Fortnite where she and her boyfriend played with me and Nate. Everything seemed normal until a few months later when I found out that she had been riding in his car frequently. Since it was a long-distance relationship, I liked to FaceTime or call him. One day he picked up, and I heard her voice in the background. I felt uncomfortable about that. They were also going to a game together for their school, and they were matching outfits. She even got dressed in front of the camera while we were on the phone, which was another red flag for me. The most disturbing part was that every time she felt scared, she would run to Nate for comfort, acting as if he were her boyfriend. She told me Nate tore down her walls, and she would often say she didn't want to be alive, leading Nate to always go get her. Jordan was two-faced to me, pretending to be nice when she absolutely wasn't. She eventually confessed, "I think I am in love with Nate," which I had already suspected due to her actions with my boyfriend. Nate would give her anything she wanted. Whenever I called him, it was always, "Jordan needs me, Jordan this, Jordan that." I felt sad because he prioritized her over me, his girlfriend. I wanted to play games with him, but he would always be with or playing with Jordan. She constantly interfered in our relationship, ruining every bit of it. When my friend told her to stop messing with my boyfriend, she acted like she wasn't. Am I the asshole for hating her and not liking how my ex-boyfriend hung out with her and did a lot more for her than he did for me? Of course, since we stopped dating, I shouldn't care as much as I do, but now that Nate and Jordan are dating, it has fueled me with anger inside. Please tell me if I am being the asshole or is he? You did the right thing, but the only person being hurt is yourself. He's an ex now, and she's irrelevant to you. It's clear he's moved on, and it's time to do the same. No matter what social media tells you, long-distance relationships don't often end well. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.